Are you a senior citizen wondering if you qualify for the latest stimulus payment? Breaking news: the IRS has just announced a massive rollout of $2,800 stimulus checks targeting seniors across 25 states. Stay tuned, because in the next few minutes, I'm going to break down exactly who qualifies, how to claim your payment, and what documentation you need to have ready. Before we dive in, make sure to hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you never miss out on crucial updates about stimulus payments, tax refunds, and financial assistance programs that could put money in your pocket. Today's announcement marks a significant shift in how the IRS is handling financial assistance for our senior citizens. Many of you have been reaching out, asking whether there would be additional support coming for those on fixed incomes, especially with inflation affecting everything from grocery bills to prescription medications. Well, the wait is finally over, and I'm here to walk you through every detail of this new program. Let's start with the most pressing question on everyone's mind: who exactly qualifies for these $2,800 payments? The IRS has established specific criteria focused on helping seniors who need it most. First and foremost, you must be a resident of one of the 25 participating states. These include major population centers like California, Texas, Florida, and New York, as well as smaller states that have opted into the program. But residency alone isn't enough. There are income thresholds and age requirements that come into play. To be eligible, you must be at least 65 years old and have an annual income below $75,000 for single filers or $150,000 for married couples filing jointly. This is particularly important because it ensures the assistance reaches those who truly need it. But here's something many people don't realize: if you receive Social Security benefits, this stimulus payment won't affect your regular benefits. In fact, the IRS has specifically designed this program to complement existing assistance rather than replace it. Now, you might be wondering about the timing of these payments. Unlike previous stimulus rounds where everyone received their checks at roughly the same time, this rollout is being handled state by state to ensure smoother processing. The first wave of payments is scheduled to begin next month, with subsequent waves following every 2 weeks until all eligible recipients have been covered. But here's where things get interesting, and this is something many other channels aren't talking about. The IRS has implemented a new verification system for these payments, and it's crucial that you understand how it works. Remember those letters you received about your Social Security benefits? You'll need to have those handy, along with your most recent tax return and proof of residence. The verification process isn't complicated, but missing documentation could delay your payment by several weeks. One question I've been getting a lot in the comments is whether these payments are taxable. The good news is that these stimulus checks are considered tax-free assistance, meaning you won't need to report them as income on your next tax return. However, and this is important, you should still keep records of receiving the payment for your personal files. Speaking of documentation, let's talk about the application process. Unlike previous stimulus payments that were automatically deposited based on tax return information, this program requires seniors to take a more active role. The IRS has set up a dedicated online portal specifically for these $2,800 payments. Don't worry if you're not tech savvy, I'll walk you through each step of the process. First, you'll need to gather your Social Security number, tax return information from the past 2 years, and proof of residence in one of the qualifying states. The online portal will guide you through entering this information, but here's a pro tip: have everything ready before you start the application. The system times out after 30 minutes for security reasons, so being prepared will save you from having to start over. Now, let's address something that's causing some confusion: what about seniors who don't typically file tax returns? The IRS has thought of this too. If you haven't filed taxes in the past 2 years because your income was below the filing threshold, you can still qualify. You'll just need to provide alternative documentation, such as your Social Security benefit statement and proof of residence. But here's where it gets really interesting: the IRS has included some additional benefits that aren't being widely reported. For seniors who qualify for the full $2,800 payment, there's also a potential supplemental payment of up to $500 for those with dependents. This could include adult children with disabilities or grandchildren you're raising. The requirements for this supplemental payment are a bit different, though, so make sure to check if you qualify. Let's talk about the timeline for a moment. Once you've submitted your application through the portal, what happens next? The IRS says most eligible seniors can expect to receive their payment within 2-3 weeks of verification. Payments will be made either by direct deposit or paper check, depending on the information you provide during the application process. Direct deposit is faster, typically arriving 5-7 days sooner than paper checks. One aspect that's particularly important to understand is how this payment might interact with other benefits you're receiving. Some seniors have expressed concern about whether accepting this stimulus payment could affect their Medicaid eligibility or other assistance programs. I want to be very clear on this point. These $2,800 payments are classified as disaster relief payments, which means they won't count against your eligibility for other federal or state assistance programs. Now, let's discuss something that could potentially affect your payment amount: outstanding federal debts. Unlike some previous stimulus payments, these new checks are not protected from all types of garnishment. If you have defaulted federal student loans or owe back taxes, a portion of your payment could be withheld. However, the good news is that private debts, including credit card debt and personal loans, cannot touch these stimulus funds. Security is another crucial aspect we need to discuss. Unfortunately, whenever there's a new government program offering financial assistance, scammers try to take advantage. The IRS has already identified several scam attempts related to these new stimulus payments. Remember, the IRS will never call, email, or text you asking for personal information or payment to process your stimulus check. All official communication will come through regular mail, and the only legitimate website for applying is through the official IRS portal. Let's talk about appeals. What happens if your application is denied? The IRS has established an appeals process for seniors who believe they were wrongly denied. You have 60 days from the date of denial to file an appeal, and I strongly recommend keeping copies of all documentation supporting your eligibility. The appeals process can take up to 30 days, but if successful, your payment will be processed with the next batch of distributions. Some of you might be wondering about retroactive payments. What if you qualified but missed the initial application period? Good news, the IRS has built in a grace period. Even if you don't apply immediately when the program launches, you'll have up to 6 months to submit your application and still receive the full amount. However, I strongly recommend not waiting, as processing times may increase significantly as we get closer to the deadline. One unique feature of this stimulus program is its focus on financial education. The IRS has partnered with several nonprofit organizations to provide free financial counseling services to stimulus recipients. These services can help you make the most of your payment, whether that's catching up on bills, starting an emergency fund, or investing in necessary medical equipment not covered by Medicare. As we wrap up, let me address one final question I've been seeing in the comments: will there be additional rounds of stimulus payments for seniors? While nothing is guaranteed, the current legislation includes provisions for potential additional payments if certain economic triggers are met. I'll be keeping a close eye on these developments and will update you as soon as any new information becomes available. Remember, staying informed is your best defense against missing out on benefits you're entitled to receive. That's why I encourage you to subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell. I'm committed to bringing you the latest updates on stimulus payments, tax changes, and other financial news that affects seniors. Whether you're just learning about these stimulus payments or you're ready to start your application, I hope this video has given you the information you need to move forward confidently. If you found this information helpful, please give this video a thumbs up and share it with other seniors who might benefit from learning about these stimulus payments. And don't forget, if you have specific questions about your situation, drop them in the comments below. I read every comment and try to address the most common questions in future videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.